Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity to let me speak today. I'm Chris Reynolds. I'm the sales manager for Avanti Conveyors. Talking about the robots and how the robots are coming. Talking about how the robots can be a benefit to the corrugated industry. Now, throughout the history, I think we've seen how robots have been a benefit to different groups. I think we might be familiar with some of them. I think some of them even brought the Empire down in Star Wars. And even Wallace and Gromit's benefited from some robots in the time. But now in the corrugated industry, we've got a robot solution that fits for feeding and stacking on conversion machines. Avanti previously last year, did a partnership with Supplier Automation in the US, which is a combination of Avanti Conveyors and Automatam, who provide the robot solutions. We provided some really good projects last year. I'm looking to push forward and do some more in the next year, and moving forward from there. So why robots? They do provide an alternative to standard pre-feeding and stacking methods, especially in sheep plants where at the moment we might have manual stacking, manual feeding. They provide an alternative. They meet the demands due to their really rapid setups that you can get on the pre-feeding, in the feeding. It meets the demands of some small order runs that we're seeing more in the industry. They're greener. We've got they use very little power. They're on less than 5 amps. Reliable. I was lucky enough to go and see quite a lot of these installations in the US and saw how they benefited and how all the operators and managers and the engineering managers just really were impressed by how little they had to do, very low maintenance, especially compared to traditional methods. So there's 2 types really of the robots that we're looking at. There's the feeding for conversion machines and the stacking. The feeders can provide a solution for flatbed die cutters, rotary die cutters, flexor folder gluers, your case makers. Multiple benefits really. Very versatile. The robots, they use up to 7 axes. This allows them to be positioned anywhere on the feed end of a machine, allowing materials handling to be then positioned wherever it's required. This allows you to go around obstacles in factories, and in more and more factories, especially sheep plants, we see lots of objects in the way, so that's it's very versatile. The 7 axes of motion, let's say it allows a very fluid motion to pick up from any point. Space saving, compared to traditional pre-feeders, they come up to 50% space saving. We're seeing conversion machines getting longer and longer as we move into the future. So a very important factor. Feeding quality, it's consistent. With the robots that we use, the Fanuc robots, they're like the Rolls Royce. So we get consistent 24/7 running if we can. They are the best of the best with the robots. As I say, rapid setups. It's very easy for operators now to set up on feeding, and again, we can turn around and get product through straight away. Yeah, the running speeds, again, we take the board and we feed directly into the hopper, so we can get up to 26,000 feeds an hour. So we're really getting up there with most demands of most machines. So just a video to show how the operation works. They come in 2 different sizes. There's a 360 and a 700 kilogram, depending on the board size. They can work from a 250 to 600 mil blank size up to a 1700 by 3.3 meters. So again, covering the range of most machines that we work with in the industry. There's the main pusher, the main arm, the end effector uses a pusher pad, which is very soft on the board, so it doesn't damage the board, which is quite a neat solution. They also provide these back tampers and the side tampers to make sure the board's positioned and aligned correctly, so you get the best feed. Within the materials handling that feed up to where the robot picks up, we've got quite a lot of different solutions on whether the backstop is. It allows the board to be squared up, the differential in sizes. We've got variable in the backstops, and these are automatic. as well as fixed ones, depending on the solution that's required. Quite a neat solution to allow a board to constantly be fed. Seventh axis. The seventh axis and the six axes are on the actual machine themselves, but there is an opportunity when machines need to retract out, when you need to be changing tooling or changing print units. The seventh axis allows the robot to retract all the way out to allow machines to open up. The base boards on the bottom, and as well as pallets, can be taken out automatically, again to allow board to be constantly fed through. This is a solution, you see, of where we can retract the machine out. Okay. So onto the other end of the machine, we've got the feed, we've now got onto the auto stack. This is, again, a really neat solution that's made up of bundle conveyor that manages to it controls the presentation of the stacks, the bundles, manage to orientate them to get different stack patterns that are required, and then the robot arm itself, as well as base sheet feeding and tie sheet feeding. Benefits, due to the multiple sections of bundle conveyor that we use prior to the actual robot arm itself, we get up to over 65 different patterns that, for stacking. Again, it's a consistent machine. It can run 24/7, very little maintenance. Stack quality and presentation is very, very good. And again. So just an example of how the machine works. So we have bundle conveyor zones prior to the robot arm itself. These allow for separation of the bundles, squaring and centering. They can run up to speeds of 12 or 18 bundles per minute, so quite high speeds. And when you get to the 18, you need the top roller conveyor to maintain the squareness and centering. There's an ability to rotate the load, so when the robot arm drags into the load former, you've already been able to rotate the load if it's required. Again, it's depending on the parameters. It's very simple input from the operator. They put in at the start of the order what the requirements are, and then the robot just goes and you leave it to run itself. Okay. So I said the robots are coming, but I suppose the robots are already here. The solutions are readily available, and I've got my team here, Nigel, Simon and Tom, and we'll be here all night, so if there's anyone that thinks they're interested in this or it'll be good, then please let us know. Thank you.